Welcome to the Doktor O'Kay Show, back from a quick jaunt up north to Arlington, Virginia. But let's get right to it. It was Monday Night Raw from Grand Rapids, Michigan, where our main headline is, just keep forgetting that champion versus champion is over. But we'll get to that in a minute, so let's go down the list of matches where we start with just keep testing out that injured knee, where Doktor O'Kay made a surprising return for us after 3 months on the shelf to get revenge on the Pure Fusion Collective, and she tested out that knee early and often using that coast-to-coast face wash and big boot over and over again, and it was successful because the damage control is the ones, as Io Sky put this one away with an over the moonsault to get the win, and Sky, Kai, and Zayn as a trio go to 2-0 in 2024, while the PFC are the twos, as Shayna Baszler was the only one who seemed to have a pulse in this one, as she smartly tried to lock in the half crab on Dakota to get her to tap out. But even though she had it locked in for quite a while, Io finally managed to break it up, so Shayna then switched to her patented Karafuda clutch, but that too was not quite successful, with damage control finding a way to get the win, and the PFC drops to 1-2 as a trio, as Sonya again continues to hold back Zoe and Shayna from the in-ring success that they were having before she joined them. But because we like having nice things, and Dakota's return is indeed one of those, it was good to see them back together, so this will get an okay. Up next, we just keep arguing into losses, as yet again the New Day is not on the same page, as Kofi Kingston argued with Xavier Woods when Woods got involved clotheslining Pete Dunne during the match, and it cost him, as Dunne immediately hit a knee and the bitter end to get the win. So Dunne is indeed the ones, as yeah, he did his typical joint manipulation early, but he mostly just walked into an easy win because the New Day could not get it together. So Kofi Kingston is the twos, and he was just unlucky in this one, as he landed a Trouble in Paradise. But unfortunately, instead of falling to the mat, Pete Dunne was able to fall to the outside instead, where Woods hit him with that clothesline, causing that discrepancy between the New Day members yet again. So Dunne improves to 2-3 in one-on-one matches, but Kofi remains winless at 0-6-1. But Woods is going to have to pick up his 6th fine of the year for that clothesline. But this fighting is just getting completely old, and we can't wait for that 10th anniversary to get here soon enough on November 28th. But while we're waiting for that, this is absolutely atrocious. Double not okay. In our third match, we just keep needing to do better, as Ludwig Kaiser again lets down Gunther, first on the mic and then inside the ring, taking a clothesline and a South of Heaven chokeslam for Damian Priest to pick up the win. So Priest is indeed the ones, as he's right back on track, and after taking a loss to Dom in his most recent one-on-one match, he's now 6 out of 7 in the win column in all singles matches since losing the title at SummerSlam, and goes to 11-3 in one-on-one matches, but he will pick up an STF for forearming Kaiser and then clotheslining him over the top rope that set up this match. But Kaiser will be the twos, as he tried to talk big to Priest, but Gunther just shut him down there, and then Priest shut him down inside the ring, so Kaiser continues to be winless since returning from his injury, losing all 6 of his one-on-one matches since returning from injury. That will now make him 3-6-1, and with Priest seemingly also being inside of Gunther's head leading up to their championship match at SummerSlam. This is a little bit strange. I'm pretty sure Gunther is just feigning this, but we can't say for sure. So for now, not okay. And in our main event, we go back to our headline of just keep forgetting that champion v champion is over. But we had a women's tag team championship match where the champions, Jade and Bianca, took on the world women's champion, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. But it was the WWE women's champion, Nia Jax, and her partner, Miss Money in the Bank, Tiffany Stratton, who interfered in this one with Tiffy not even bringing the briefcase for unknown reasons, because that would be the only reason for them to show up here. But nonetheless, Jade and Bianca found a way yet again to retain the championships. So Jade and Bianca are the ones, as Jade kicked Liv out of mid-air when she jumped off the ropes, and then Bianca finished her off with a KOD for them to get their 5th successful title defense already, and they improve to 13-0 in traditional tags. But Liv and Raquel are the twos, as Liv took her eyes off the prize after Nia interfered in this one. Well, Naomi also came out and threw Nia into the ring post, but Liv decided to land a code breaker on Naomi, so when she got back into the ring, she was right there to take that damage from Jade and then get hit with the Kiss of Death. So we can't feel too badly about it here, as Liv and Raquel got a title shot without ever getting a win in a tag match, and they go to a very strange record of 0-1-2. That's right, they had 2 no contests, so this was actually their first decision in 3 tag matches. But Nia and Tiffy are going to have to pick up STFs, both getting their 10th fines for inexplicably interfering in this match. Now granted, we're going to have to say that they were allowed to be there because Miss Money in the Bank can cash in on any champion, so if she wanted to cash in on Liv, she certainly could have done so in this particular instance. But Nia and Tiffy were still not allowed to interfere in this match, so when Nia hit that Samoan drop on Jade during the match, that is your STF. But we're not done there, because Naomi also came out to help out Jade and Bianca in the former Big Three, but I guess Naomi was only there because her husband Jimmy Uso was there. But why was Naomi even in ring gear? Because she is not allowed to show up here, so she will get a 2-week suspension for indeed interfering in this match. And then after the match, even Io Sky got into the act, as she is going to be heading into a title match against Liv Morgan, so it somewhat makes sense that she did do this. So she kicked Nia in the face, even though she shouldn't really have a quarrel with Nia at this particular moment. But I guess no additional STFs for this one. Nonetheless, this was all kinds of crazy, and inexplicably, a lot of people were showing up when we should have just had a nice, good old-fashioned championship match, so this has to get a not okay. So beyond the mat for Monday Night Raw, we had Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Sami Zayn talking about how they needed a 5th member for War Games, and I'm not sure why we need 5th members for this particular match, other than Solo Sikoa just magically brought up needing 5 members on a team on Friday Night SmackDown, but that was when he thought Sami was going to be on his team instead of against him, so I'm not sure why we wouldn't just go with 4-on-4 here. Nonetheless, they all started trying to recruit, but we saw Jey Uso strike out trying to get Rey Mysterio to join the team. Then Jimmy Uso spoke to Braun Breaker, but we don't know exactly how that went, so I guess we'll have to see in the future. But of course, we did see Seth Rollins flatly reject Sami Zayn because he said that Roman Reigns is a tyrant, and he is shocked that anyone would join up with Roman Reigns, and he said that Zayn is blind if he can't see that Reigns is using him yet again. And to that I say, yes, Seth, you are correct, sir. I'm glad you are talking sense, but here's the problem. It seems that every time someone tries to talk some sense into another member of the old bloodline, they quickly decide to rejoin the old bloodline. as it was first Jay speaking to Jimmy about rejoining Reigns, and then he did indeed rejoin them, and then Sami did the same with Jay, and of course after Crown Jewel he decided to speak to Reigns and rejoin them just this past Friday. So if that holds true, I guess Seth will also be joining the OG Bloodline next week on Raw. But Solo Sikoa and the new Bloodline were also creepily hanging out at Monday Night Raw, but at least they did not go into the arena. Instead, they were waiting when Seth Rollins was leaving, and Sikoa tried to recruit him as well. But unfortunately, Rollins said that he would not join up with a wannabe Roman Reigns. So Seth, I guess you had it right the first time, but you took a step back here. We will still give this an okay. I guess I just can't blame you though, because Bronson Reed is taking up a lot of your time, as Reed called out Rollins in the middle of the ring, and of course Rollins ran right on out, and those two fought with security guards trying to come out to break that fight up. But Reed, of course, couldn't help himself, and he punched and pushed a whole bunch of them to get his hands onto Rollins. And so eventually more WWE officials finally came out, and they also broke up the brawl. And then Seth Rollins argued with Adam Pearce for another match against Big Bronson Reed, and Pearce finally relented, giving them another match for next week on Monday Night Raw. But Reed is going to have to pick up another 1 month suspension, which is his 7th suspension of the year, yet again for putting his hands on and pushing and punching those security guards. So I guess this was yet again another entertaining brawl. We will give it an okay. But just before Jimmy Uso spoke to Braun Breaker, it was Sheamus who interrupted Breaker's interview with Kathy Kelly, and Sheamus challenged Breaker to an Intercontinental title match after those two had fought in a WWE Speed match, which ended in a draw because they couldn't finish in 3 minutes, which makes complete sense. And so Breaker did indeed accept that challenge, so we'll have an IC title match next week on Raw. But since this was only brought up through a failed WWE Speed match, which we will continue to just keep not talking about, this has to get a not okay. And lastly, The Miz and the Final Testament fooled the Wyatt Six when The Miz met up with the TFT backstage, saying that he was out for good, but that was just a ruse, as then the TFT dragged The Miz into the ring with Cross, saying that he would now have to break Miz's legs for getting them involved. However, when Cross brought up the Wyatt Six, the lights went out and they appeared. But while the lights went out, The Miz was able to grab a steel chair, and then when the lights came back on, he hit Eric Rowan in the back with a steel chair, and the fight was on, with the Final Testament and The Miz completely dominating and leaving the Wyatt Six lying in the middle of the ring. But as they were leaving the ring, it was Uncle Howdy who started laughing maniacally inside the ring, so it appears that this one is not even close to being over. So for this pretty entertaining little segment and the start of hopefully something good, we're giving it an okay. While both the old Bloodline and the new Bloodline go on a wild goose chase to find the 5th member of their War Games teams, you just need to go right here if you missed our recap to show how Sami Zayn rejoined up with Roman Reigns. But for now, until we find that, this one's getting a not okay.